is Transforming Relationships Through a Course in Miracles with Anna and Greg, and Anna.
And we're so happy that we're not starting late, even though it seems like it's 7 minutes after the time, because we can't help but be where we're supposed to be at the exact time, at the right place. It's just so wonderful to know that we're always doing everything
Exactly.
perfect.
At the right time. We cannot but be in the right place at the right time. And isn't it funny, ha ha ha, that almost every time right before we start class, the ego comes up with some kind of defense.
Yeah.
You know, you would think that it would just be hilarious, ha ha, every time.
Yeah, it's not like it's once, out of the month, one time.
Yes, no.
It's literally
It's
every
every time.
It doesn't matter if it's like our phones have been working fine,
Yes.
the page that we're reading up was working fine, the music had been playing.
Yes.
And
All good.
the very minute we went to push
Yes.
play, all the technology
Just
stuff went
goes
everywhere.
crazy. And you know what? We should be used to it by now and think it's hilarious. And, soon we will. Soon we will. So.
Like I asked Spirit the other day, I literally was saying to Spirit the other day, where were you on that one? There was something that happened that day that didn't feel good. It didn't feel peaceful. It didn't bring me joy or happiness. But yet I thought I prayed before the incident to Spirit, gave it over to Spirit, and walked away upset. And so I'm going, where were you on that one? You say to give everything to you. And if we do, we'll see differently, we'll feel differently. You got it taken care of. Where were you on that one back there? And Spirit's response to me, literally, after the laughing part, was just simply sharing with me, if you only realize your intense belief that you deserve punishment, you can ask me all day long to help you, but if you're going to stand there banging your head, Greg, you're not going to go to hear me very good when I'm trying to help you, because you believe so deeply in punishment.
Unconsciously.
And in this broadcast, coincidentally, we're going to be talking about what we're always looking for, which is punishment, which is what we so deeply, and that's what Spirit was trying to get through to me that other day, was it is so deeply rooted in us to punish ourselves. Unconsciously, we're always looking for the way to demonstrate to ourselves that we deserve punishment.
Yes, and
more proof and evidence.
Exactly, and this section is going to go deeply into that there's another way of seeing ourselves and seeing everything, seeing the world, whatever's going on in the world, no matter how dark it seems to be, that literally transforms whatever we're looking at into the most beautiful thing you ever saw, whatever it is. And so we're going to be talking about that kind of vision that is available to us anytime, anywhere, anytime, no exceptions, that we can access, that transforms whatever we're looking at into something beautiful and good and holy.
And what better timing? It's again very humorous that a little over an hour before class, Anna and I sometimes do it at class time, but we felt led to go ahead and do our prayer, and we were up in our balcony area and just prayed to Spirit. What would you have us, the normal prayer?
Random number generator prayer.
What would you have us read tonight, and what is it that is on your heart to share with the children of God? What's on God's Creator's heart to share with Creator's children? What would you have us, your children, us included, hear from you? And then, of course, what comes up miraculously is, of all things, here in the middle of March of 2022, what are we witnessing in the world?
A lot of death and destruction. War.
And this is, in part, exactly what this meeting went to tonight, is to talk about all the violence, perceived, I should say, violence and death, and just our way of seeing it.
and how to look on it another way that transforms it into heaven on earth. So,
Beautiful.
shall we get into it? So we're going to be in the blue covered edition, and it's the same section in both books. The purple covered edition and the blue covered edition is chapter 20, section 8. Chapter 20, section 8. And the name of the section is called The Vision of Sinlessness. There is a way to look on everything and see only innocence, only good, only innocence, only sinlessness. And you may be wondering, how can you look upon this world and see only innocence, only good? Well, this section answers that question. And so it's the vision of sinlessness. It says, vision will come to you at first in glimpses.
So not all at one time.
Exactly. It'll have, whoa, I saw how it could be beautiful and good and holy. I saw how this could be in my own best interest. I saw how this could be good and useful, but in a glimpse.
Because when we're seeing, war and destruction, and we're praying to see it another way, we're expecting, an instantaneous
Revelation that lasts forever.
But we're so deep in this hole of illusion that we need to take some baby steps out of it, which would be called glimpses.
Exactly. Vision of the beauty and the good, vision of what will make you happy no matter what you're looking at, will come to you at first in glimpses. But those glimpses will be enough to show you what is given you who see others as sinless. Oh, so you're saying that when I see others as sinless, which means innocent, then you're saying something's going to be given to me? Oh, well, I love to have things be given to me. I love presents. Okay, so you got my attention, spirit. And here's what's given you. Truth is restored to you through your desire, just as truth was lost to you through your desire for something besides truth. Okay? When I wanted truth, I saw the truth and it made me happy. And when I wanted something besides the truth, then truth was lost to me. Okay? Because I wanted to see something besides the truth. So then it says, open the loving place that you closed off by valuing the so-called something else besides truth. And then what was never lost will quietly return to you. So when you open the loving place that you closed off by valuing something besides the truth, then truth will quietly return to you. Now, what is the truth? The truth that can only make you happy. That truth has been saved for you. Thank you, Spirit. Truth has been saved for you, period. Vision would not be necessary had judgment not been made. So, if you desire now judgment's whole undoing, then the end of judgment is done for you. Okay? So if the only suffering that we're experiencing has come from our judgments, us not wanting the truth, but desiring our judgments on it, when judgment, it says, judgment's whole undoing will be done for us. When we want something besides our interpretations, our opinions, then our judgment and all its effects will be undone for us.
So how wonderful that every time we look out and we see the world in a way of judgment, whether it be what's happening in Ukraine with Russia right now, and as soon as we render our judgment, we lose vision, which we're having explained to us is the same as saying we lose truth. Exactly. We can't see what is true anymore. We can only see once we enter in our judgment what is untrue.
Exactly. You can either see what is true, which makes you happy, or you can have your judgment, your opinion, your interpretation based on only partial awareness of the situation. But you can't have both. You can either have truth, which makes you happy, vision, or your judgment. So,
Which one do you want?
which one do you want? Do you want to be right or happy? That's the question.
And the story with all of our judgments is, if we're confident that if we put 10 people in a room and we brought up what we just heard in the last 24 hours in Ukraine, that everybody that is normal would agree with my judgment. It's just a normal, natural judgment. And so what even if they all did, the 10 of them, come into the room, and what if we all did agree? Does that mean that because
It's true.
it's true because now we've multiplied our judgments 10 times over? It just means that we've multiplied our blindness
And our pain.
and our unhappiness 10 times over.
Exactly. We're going to get to the point where we realize that the only thing that's hurting us and depriving us of the happiness, the joy, the love, and the abundance that we desire and deserve is our opinions, our interpretations based on our past, as if we know the whole truth. And there's going to come a day when we're going to look upon something, notice we don't like the way we feel, and say to ourselves, honestly, I really do hope that I'm wrong. I really do hope that I'm wrong. And Spirit, how do you see this? How does this look to you, Spirit? And then we'll ask. There will come a day when that's how we instead of judging, we ask.
And for me, walking in A Course in Miracles, I slowly came to a place where as you said, how is this making you feel? And when I would realize that what I'm experiencing isn't making me feel good.
What I'm seeing.
Maybe what I'm seeing, what I heard, it doesn't matter, but what the world of perception brought to me that is making me feel uneasy and taking my joy and happiness away, I start to realize, because of the promises of the Course, that not only it could be, but it is 100% true that I can see this another way because I'm seeing it wrong.
Yes.
Once I realize I'm not feeling good, you start realizing the connection is to just accept I'm interpreting wrong.
I don't like the way I feel because of my interpretation.
If we see any story going on outside of us, if it's not judged as good, as whole and
or
complete,
making us happy.
yeah, then we're not seeing correctly.
Exactly.
And just that revelation really begins to
telling
change
you.
our thinking. Once we
Yes.
step into that uneasy feeling, we realize, oh, I have a ladder out of here.
Yes, once we become aware, I don't like the way I feel right now. First of all, that's a miracle in itself.
Yeah, that's a miracle to remember.
That's called awareness. I don't like the way I feel right now.
Oh, wow.
Most people, when you don't like the way you feel, you don't even notice that you don't like the way you feel. You just assume, you're just in unconscious assumption that the way you feel is real and natural, and the only way there is to feel. And you're not even aware of it or question it. The Course in Miracles is teaching us to become aware of how we feel. And of Course in Miracles says becoming aware of how you feel is the one right use of judgment. Do I like what I feel? How am I feeling right now? That's the one right use of judgment.
When all of our stuff was going haywire just before class and we started pushing the buttons and then nothing was working, we were actually sitting here laughing about it. because if you start realizing no matter what's going on, everything's okay. Just start with a couple basic principle truths, and then it can bring you back to joy and happiness.
That's right.
How do I feel? And once you start getting that remedy down, then you're like, well, if I go that direction, which is telling me, oh no, we're 5 minutes after the hour, people are going to think these guys aren't very professional, they don't start on time, and you know, my business person starts coming up and talking to me about, you know, work ethics and if you're going to say you're going to be at this time, then be at that time. And so that voice was coming up, but yet we were still laughing and giggling with each other because there's another voice now there that's entering because you allowed it to come in and be a contender in your life, which speaks to the other voice. And it says, yeah, that's true, they're 5 minutes after, thanks for observing, but they're right on time. This is all happening specifically beyond your awareness of being able to see perfectly right now.
Amen to that. Now we're on paragraph 2. Do you not want to know your own identity? Okay, let's ask that another way. Would you not happily exchange your doubts for certainty? Okay, if you could exchange your doubts, your self-doubts for certainty, would you want to? Well, let's ask that another way. Wouldn't you willingly be free of misery and learn again of joy if you could? Okay, it's not a trick question. This is an honest question. If you could be free of your misery and experience joy again, wouldn't you want to that? Wouldn't you be willing to be free of misery and learn of joy if you could? I know that sounds like a trick question. You're like, is that a capped, as A Course in Miracles calls it, that our teacher has to actually ask us those questions.
It's so funny to see Holy Spirit standing there with the clipboard going, I just have a few questions. Would you be willing to give up your misery and have that replaced with joy?
If you could, would you like, that's what I ask a lot of times with my clients in sessions. They'll be describing their misery and their self-doubts, and I'll ask them, if you could be free of that misery that you just described to me, would you want that? If there was a way for you to be free of that misery, would you want to learn how to be free of that?
Or you just want to stay in that misery?
You know, and then that question right there is the turning point. Because if they go, yeah, I would, okay, now their minds are open, now they are motivated. And if they say, well, that's not really an option, then I say, well, what if it was?
Yeah,
I'm not saying whether, I'm saying if
there was.
Let's just conjecture for a moment.
Let's just pretend.
Let's just pretend that there could be another way of looking at this besides the way you're looking at it that's making you so angry and upset right now. And if there was, would you be interested in that? And they're like, well, yeah, I guess, of course. I go, wonderful, because now they're motivated. Now their mind is open.
And they're demonstrating, as the Course is always saying, willingness.
Yes,
they're
willingness.
Demonstrating to be willing.
Exactly.
Are you even willing to see it another way, or are
Exactly.
you just so stuck on your way of seeing it?
Yeah. Your story.
Which we've all had these stories in our life where we're not willing to give up the way we interpreted it. I don't care.
Exactly. And most humans are not aware of their deep, deep, deep addiction to their misery. They're not. If you ask most people, do you want to be happy? They'll say, of course I do. But most people are not aware of their own addiction to it until you try to remind them that there's another way, and then they fight you on it.
They fight you all the way through.
They fight you against that.
They don't want to give up their story.
Right. So because they're in denial about their addiction to their misery because they're addicted to their story. you know, and because their story has gotten them something. It's their miserable story about how they're a victim and they've been betrayed and done wrong, and you know, is something that they've been using to get them something they want. So they don't, attention, for example, or sympathy, or you know.
Or the Spirit was sharing with me earlier this week what they want. If you only understood what you want, truly is a deep desire to punish yourself.
Exactly. Well, most humans are in denial about that. The same thing, you know, the deep desire to punish yourself is the same as your belief that you deserve punishment, which is the same as your addiction to suffering, which is your addiction to unhappy relationships where you get to be miserable and play the victim.
Which is voluntary bondage.
Which is voluntary bondage, exactly.
Yeah.
Most humans don't realize that they have a fetish for bondage and submission.
Hey, it can be fun if you gotta be with the right person.
Thank you. Maybe you should do a class on that. Maybe that's a class on that sometime.
Voluntary bondage.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe after the financial class.
Right after the
But
financial class.
we laugh at it, but it is true.
It
This
is.
is one of the truths of the Course. The Course says over and over and over, you must demonstrate a little bit of willingness.
Yes.
In other words, you have to be willing, just like you were willing to be in bondage, you have to be willing to be free.
Exactly.
Love is not going to push love
on you. That's right. Because love ain't like that.
And go, well, you like bondage? Well, how about we try it this way? But you don't want to try it this way. You want to keep doing it that way. You want to be okay.
Yes.
Well, if you ever want to change, you can come over and try it this way.
Yes.
If you want boundless love, come out with it.
That's exactly right. The ego doesn't care about your volition, and the ego just pushes what it wants on you without even asking. But love is not like that.
Right.
Love waits on welcome, period. Love waits on welcome. Love says, do you want me? And you say no. It goes, okay, well, I'll just patiently wait forever, whatever. And so love waits on welcome, which means that peace waits on welcome. Abundance, lasting abundance waits on welcome. Truth waits on welcome. Peace waits on welcome. Love, real love waits on welcome. And so, you know, love will come where love is desired. Love will come. Peace will come where love and peace is invited.
And I think that goes hand in hand with what you were just finished reading here, that Spirit's just asking honestly, would you want to give up your misery for joy?
If you
Do
could.
you want to give up your doubts, you know, for certainty? Wouldn't
About
you want to
yourself.
be certain
About yourself.
and what's going on in the
Yes,
world?
right. If you could.
Rather than looking out in the world and being uncertain,
Yes.
having uncertainty, the certainty of knowing everything
Right.
is perfect.
Exactly.
Everything is right. But once you start at that level, you'll start seeing at that level in glimpses.
Exactly. I mean, you ask somebody, do you want to be happy? Do you want to exchange your self-doubt for certainty of your worth and value? Don't you want to be free of misery? And everybody's going to say, well, of course I do. But they don't realize that to answer yes to that means that you're willing to give up your story, your version of reality that you've been building for a long time that says that, you know, that other people need to change to be happy. And so it's like, yes, I want to be happy, but not so much that I'm willing to give up, you know, everything I learned about myself and reality, especially the part about me being a victim. I'm not willing to give that up. So
I was a parent to my miscreations, and I protect and defend my miscreations.
yes, exactly. Exactly. I don't want to give up my victim, angry, betrayal stories even though they hurt me and make me miserable because I made them. You know, I want my misery not because it makes me happy, because I made it. You know, and that's a very
It's my
unworthy,
creation.
exactly, that's a very unworthy reason to not be happy, is just so that you can be right. You know, is that worthy? Is that a good choice, that you're going to deny happiness just so you can be right about your version of what happened, you know, that makes you feel justified in being angry? So it says, yeah, you know, do you want to know your own identity? Wouldn't you happily exchange your doubts for certainty? Wouldn't you willingly be free of misery and learn again of joy? Well, your loving relationship, your guiltless relationship offers all this to you. And as your guiltless relationship was given you, so will the effects of your guiltless relationship be given you. And as your relationship's guiltless purpose was not made by you, the means by which your guiltless relationship's happy end is yours is also not of you. So in other words, rejoice in the guiltless relationship and all its miracles. Rejoice in what is yours, but for the asking. And don't think that you need make either means or end. Why? Because all this is given you who would just see others sinless. So you don't have to make up the means or the ends of happiness. All that happiness, all that certainty, all that release from misery is given you, you who would only see others as sinless, which means guiltless. Ah, I don't have to figure out how to make myself happy. I don't have to figure out the means of being happy. I don't have to figure out anything about being happy, healthy, and wealthy forever. I don't have to figure that out. That's not up to me to figure out. All that is given me, who would just see others as guiltless.
And now we're starting down the trail with spirit, totally unfamiliar with the trail we've been walking. Right now, the first step here is, all you have to do, by the way, is see all of your brothers and sisters out there in the world as sinless.
Or at least desire to.
And so, for me, what I'm hearing is, because when we first started reading this an hour before class, when that sentence was read, what I heard in my mind from probably my ego, not wanting me to go that way, is, that's impossible.
You can't see everybody as guiltless.
But what Spirit's trying to demonstrate is, recognize you don't know how to be happy.
Yes.
Recognize this pattern,
Yes.
that you don't accept it. You don't know how to see your equals, your siblings, as sinless.
Anybody.
I can't look out in the world today and see that. I'm gonna see the person that said that, the way they said that to me, the way they looked at me.
Yeah.
And so, if all we have to do is see our brother sinless, it makes me feel like, boy, I don't know how I can do this curriculum, because I can't see people as sinless. Are you kidding me?
Especially the people that's closest to us.
But you can do it if you realize that's the point. You don't know how to do it.
And you don't have to.
And so that's not your job.
Exactly. It says, all this is given waiting on your desire. You know, do you desire to see others sinless? So I don't have to know exactly how to see everybody as guiltless, okay? But my desire, I'm willing to see this person as guiltless. I'm willing. All the miracles and gifts and the happiness, health, and wealth that comes as a reward from willing to see others as guiltless, all that is given you, but for your desire, not your know-how, not your ability, but your desire to see that. In other words, vision is freely given to those who ask to see. So if you want to see how they are guiltless and sinless, and you desire to see that because you heard about the rewards of it, then it is freely given to you. The vision is given you to see them as guiltless, and all the rewards of seeing others as guiltless is also given to you, but for your desire.
Now, you can't be demonstrating that you desire it if you're still holding on when you come into the conference room with spirit to your story.
Yes.
And you're just snuggled up to it and you're not letting go of it.
Yep.
That's not demonstrating a desire.
Yes.
That's demonstrating, well, it is a desire, but a desire to not be happy.
Yeah, to say
You're
suffering.
hanging on to this which hasn't
Yes.
been making you happy.
Exactly.
This story that I have about Anna
Exactly.
and what she's doing, and I'm asking Spirit to take this from me, but I'm still refusing to let go of a story
Yes.
that I have that she did to me.
Exactly. And the story, the story is always attended to by anger, upset, guilt. It's like,
all the ego luggage.
Exactly. You can always tell when you're holding on to the ego story because you don't like the way you feel. It doesn't
Right.
feel good.
Doesn't
You
make
feel
you happy.
angry. You feel sad. You feel guilty. You feel ashamed. You feel
Lost.
betrayed. You feel fear. You feel loss. And you don't have a certainty of your own self-value, and you're experiencing misery in some form. Okay, that's how you know that you're clinging to your story, your interpretation, instead of saying, I am willing to see this person as guiltless, even though I have no idea how to do that right now. I'm willing. You said it's a possibility, and you said all I have to do is desire it, and you would bring the means, so bring it on, Spirit. Show me a way to see this person sinless, so that I can be free of my misery, so that I can have a certainty of my worth and value, instead of being plagued by self-doubt all the time.
I can let go of my desire to be right.
Exactly. I
And to
can
let go of my desire to be right.
Exactly.
That's really it's like the bottom line
Yes,
of all of it.
that's right. That's the bottom line of it. Do I want to be happy and know my worth and value, no more self-doubt? Do I want to be free of misery, or do I want to be right? That's the question.
And as
Tis the question.
soon as we recognize in our life that we're not happy,
Mm-hmm.
then we recognize that I have a story to let go.
Exactly. I now I know I want to be right instead of happy.
And here's another item of consideration is, it's that old thing when you buy a new type of car. I bought this kind of Volkswagen, and so now I see this kind of Volkswagen everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
When you let go of your story, then it's not that.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
not the right interpretation.
Yes.
And you let go of that story. Well, that's what enables you to be able to look somewhere different.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm looking somewhere different. Now I can look for happiness or joy, something that's different from the story I was looking at.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm not looking at, I'm looking for.
Yes, beautiful. Okay, so that was the first two paragraphs, and you guys who just commented, your comments went by so fast I did not have a chance to really see them. It's not like Facebook where the comments will stay there and I can scroll. So
I wonder if it'll show if I touch the screen.
yeah.
No.
So I'm still learning. I'm gonna have to go figure out. I'm gonna have to cancel. Just
Okay.
yeah. I'm gonna have to go in and figure out how to make the comments go slower. So I saw Trisha, and I didn't see who else. But thank you guys for commenting. And when you comment next, I'm gonna try to catch them.
If nothing else, we'll go back after
Yes,
the broadcast at some
exactly.
point, and we'll review the comments. If there are some questions,
And respond to
we'll
them.
respond to them.
That's what I've been doing, is going back later and seeing those comments. So thank you for your
Hi,
patience
Demi, how are you?
while we learn this new platform called YouTube. So thank you, and hi Demi, lovely to see you. Okay, so here we go. So if you're just joining us, we're in chapter 20, section 8, the vision of sinlessness. All right.
In the reading from the Blue Book this
Tonight,
evening, and
yes.
we're picking back up at paragraph 3 here.
Exactly. So, other people's sinlessness is given us in shining light to look on with love's vision and to rejoice in along with love or spirit. So when you want to see somebody else's guiltlessness, it's given you. So I love it. It's not even like I have to figure out how to see them guiltless when I am not seeing them as guiltless. You know, it's like I can't see them guiltless. Well, we know. That's why the vision of guiltlessness is going to be given you by love, by your loving right mind. Okay? So
as love sees it.
exactly.
In other words, the story, we came in the conference room hugging a story, but if you look over at who you're coming to, love is hugging a story too.
Yes,
That love's not willing to let go.
exactly.
And love is willing to share that story
Yes.
with us.
Exactly. And it's so beautiful that it's telling us that all the rewards that come to us when we see the guiltlessness or innocence of other people, and it's saying, and you don't even have to know how to see it like that. All you have to do is desire it, and then your higher mind, your loving right mind, will give you the vision of their innocence and guiltlessness shining for you to look on and rejoice in along with spirit. Great. So you don't even have to know.
And this is like the third time it's repeating this
Yes,
right here for those who ask for it.
exactly. Because,
You can't ask for something that you're not, as you were saying earlier,
yes,
that you're not even aware that you need to ask for it. If
Exactly.
you're walking around asleep, not thinking about how you feel, that I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm not feeling peaceful, I'm not feeling happy, joyful, all of love's attributes. If you're not even aware of where you're at in your existence,
yes,
then you're not going to be aware to ask for something.
exactly. If you're not aware of your feelings, then you're not going to be motivated or remember to ask. Okay, and remember it was what it was saying. It was saying that a sense of certainty about your worth and value and the end of all your misery is what comes. That's the result of seeing others as guiltless and sinless and innocent. So everything that you want, all the happiness, all the abundance, all the lasting happiness, health, and wealth comes from seeing others correctly. That's what A Course in Miracles is saying.
And so there's your door.
There's your door.
There's your pathway.
There's your quick escape
There's
from
your-
hell into heaven.
There's your sneak preview of what you're
Absolutely.
looking for.
Your escape hatch.
Is if you're still looking for guilt in what
Yes.
you're experiencing, seeing, witnessing,
Yes,
then at least you have a little hint here from Spirit
yes,
that you're not looking in the direction where love's vision is going to be.
yes. And if you are experiencing any kind of self-doubt or misery or unhappiness right now, A Course in Miracles is saying that it's coming from seeing others for looking for guilt and sin in other people. That's where it's coming from. You may think it's because you have a bad boss, or you have a bad job, or you have a physical condition, or because of the economy, or because of the war, or because of the administration. But the truth is that if we're experiencing misery and self-doubt, it is coming because of how we are seeing others.
Which is, as it's going to get ready to tell us later, how we're doing that through the body's
Yes.
eyes, which we're laughing about this part, how it's the body.
Exactly. Seeing other people as their bodies, seeing others as bodies, is the same as saying seeing them as guilty or sinful. So it's because peace will come to all those who ask for peace with real desire, which means with sincerity of purpose, shared with spirit, which means at one with spirit on what happiness and real peace is. So when you're asking for peace based on what real peace is, seeing other people guiltless and sinless, then peace will come to you. Okay? It says, so here's the instruction. Be willing then to see others as sinless. Just be willing. Okay, well, how do I do all that? Just be willing to see others as sinless, so that love, so that who they really are, may rise before your vision and give you joy. So where does my joy come from? My joy comes from love giving me a vision. Okay, my joy comes from my willingness to see others as guiltless and sinless, meaning not their bodies. Okay, that's where it really comes from.
See, we come from a belief, we call it a world, but we come from a belief that everything comes from us. Whereas the truth is everything comes from Creator.
Everything that's real.
We were talking last week about the idea that we didn't make ourselves. Ourselves came from Creator. And furthermore, not only did we not make ourselves, but we did not make our function. We didn't even make our function. Our function was made by Creator and given to us. And all of these things have been given to us, but we think we're giving everything to us. And the truth is that Creator is what gives us vision. We can't see unless Creator gives us. Creator is giving, always giving, and giving us vision, which is what gives us Creator's joy, which gives us Creator's happiness.
And the vision that we're receiving is just the vision of what is so, what has already been created by the author of reality. Right. You know, we're not seeing the things as they are, as they were created by the Creator and the author of reality. Right. And so we need vision of what's really going on, who they really are, who we really are, what's really happening, what reality really is. We need that because we've denied that to ourselves. And so, you know, so the vision that makes us happy, desire it. When we desire it, that's where it comes from. That's when it comes. When we say, I really want to see this the way you see this, love, not the way I've been seeing it that has been making me miserable.
And the Course is emphasizing in what was just read in real desire.
Yes.
Not just saying the words, you know, blah, blah, blah. Really desiring, in other words, really hating the way you feel. Really wanting to get rid of that. You're done with it now. You've had enough of that.
That's sincerity and purpose.
And that's when you come to a place when you really desire. Is what you're really desiring is to get rid of the way you feel.
Exactly.
As much as you're desiring to feel good.
That's right. And all this, another way of saying this is, it said be willing then to see others as sinless. Here's another way of saying that. And by the way, we're hearing an instruction. Okay, always pay attention when the Course in Miracles gives instructions, because those are things that if you do it, you get a miracle right then and there. So here's another instruction. Place no value on other people's body.
No value.
On their body. Okay, what does that mean? That means place no value on what their body looks like, place no value on what their body's saying, place no value on what their body is doing, place no value on what you can get from their body, place no value on their body. That's not where value is, okay? That's not, place no value on what their body's saying or doing, or what you want to do with their body, or what you can get from their body, or what their body looks like.
Good or bad.
Boy, that's the opposite of our culture. We place all value on the body. It's like, if you look good, you are good in our culture, in our world. And this is saying place no value on other people's bodies. Why? Because other people's bodies hold them to lies of what they are. Their bodies hold them to lies about what they are.
Even if you put an extreme
Yes.
lot a value
Even
on
if you
somebody.
worship their body or you hate their
Where
body.
you put a very low, maybe a negative value.
Yes. Their body is hiding their reality and their truth from them and you.
By us putting a value on it.
Exactly. So it says, place no value on their body because their body is holding them to lies of what they are. And it is and it is their desire to see their own sinlessness and innocence, just like it is our desire to see our own innocence. So Course in Miracles is saying that the core desire of all of us, all humans, is that we want to see our innocence. We want to feel innocence.
I
We
didn't
want
do
to,
nothing wrong.
yeah, we all want to know our innocence. How do we know? Because when something comes up, we go, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm
It wasn't my
innocent. I
intention."
didn't mean to do that. Exactly. The truth of it, if you're not looking at and being deceived by what their body is saying and doing, or what you could get with their body or from their body, then if you really saw who they are beyond their body, you would see that all they want is to feel innocent. And you would see that all you want is to feel innocent. And so that is the truth that you would see if you were looking and valuing their body, you know. Wow. And it says, in other words, bless other people that you're in a relationship with. Bless the people you're in a relationship with, which means don't see in them what you have made of them, a body.
Mm-hmm.
Bless people that you're in a relationship with. Don't see them as a body, as their body's behavior. Don't see them as their body, what it looks like, what it has, what it does, what you can get from it. You know, bless them. And bless those you're in a relationship with. Don't see them as their body. It says, don't see in them the body that you made of them. That's an instruction.
Right.
If you want to have a happy, healthy, wealthy, fun relationship, bless them and see them only wanting innocence like you instead of valuing their body and seeing them as their body.
Now we have our, again, interpretation, because we've been taught what it means to bless them.
Mm-hmm.
Bless them how? By giving them some money. Bless them by how? Giving them some clothes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we've been taught to bless them.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're hearing right now, if we're listening, is the way we bless them is we don't put a value on them.
On their bodies.
On their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Them meaning the way that
We
we
see
are
them.
seeing them.
Yes, what we've
That-
made of them.
We're trying to learn how to get out of this
Mhm.
trap, this realm of a trap that we built for
Mhm.
ourselves, that we think is inescapable.
Yes,
And we're getting the map to get out
Yes.
of our own trap.
that's exactly right.
And out of the directions for getting out of the trap is not valuing, as I say in many classes recently, as Anna talks, I start seeing these really strong images in my mind. And what I saw as, say, my brother Chris sitting here in the room with us, Chris was made in the image of Creator.
Mhm.
And so
Innocence.
let's bring forth Creator now. And how would I see Creator? Now, if Creator, God, however you want to phrase that terminology in your mind, came forth, that which has made all that is. I mean, we're talking a pretty grand scheme here.
Author of reality.
Came forth, and I, the Creator, am sitting here. Imagine in that moment, like I come into the, as some people like to imagine in their mind, the throne room, and there's God. There's God sitting up on however majestic this throne is, and there I am, of course, in the picture, this little tiny shadow walking up to the throne, His image, and I am going to put a value on God now. I come before God, but I'm going to put a value on the valueless.
Yeah.
You cannot put a price tag on God. Well, God's some value is greater than the national deficit. You know, it's got to be like 35 trillion or something at least. We can't put a value on that which cannot be valued. And so that's where the first trap is as we step into, and I'm going to give maybe Anna on my limited, that's what value is it's a limit. It puts a limit on things. Even if you put mega trillions on it, it's still limited to that's the top of its worth. Whereas God doesn't have a top to it, God's worth. And us having come from God, we cannot have a top worth. We're valueless.
Exactly.
And so that's how we're hurting our vision of being able to see them as we're putting a measurement on them.
Called their body.
Right.
Seeing
Their
them
body.
as their body.
Because the body is the symbol of limit.
The body is the
It
symbol
breaks, it
of
dies,
limit.
It gets hurt, it
Exactly.
gets hungry, it's
So
limited.
if you see somebody's a body, you are literally trying to limit God.
Limit what
You
God
know,
created.
exactly, to their body. And to see somebody as a body is the same as being upset with them about something their body said or did, or thinking they are what their body looks like, what their body said, what they did, you know, limiting their worth or value according to what their body did or looks like, if it's beautiful or ugly, whether you're valuing their body because it's done amazing thing, it has a lot, or you're, you know,
Their body can sing so good, better than
Yeah.
other bodies.
exactly, you
And so
know,
my value of them because they could catch a football in the end zone so skillfully like that.
or seeing that they have less value or worth or power because their body is ugly or deformed or whatever,
In a
you know, in a wheelchair.
What I'm
Exactly.
saying is comparison is the ball and chain of relationships.
Exactly. You
Bondage.
know, comparison is the ball and chain of relationships. It's like the Course in Miracles is teaching us how not to see people as their bodies, so that eventually we won't see ourselves as a body, because if you see others as their body, you're not going to see God, who is their true identity as a creation of God, behind that body. You won't know yourself.
Because you're not
You know.
ever going to be looking where you need to look to see.
Exactly. You know, I don't think it's in this section, but in a different section it says, don't ask the question, how can I not see people as their bodies? Come on, I have eyes. These eyes were made to see bodies. How can I not see other people as bodies? It says, just ask yourself, do I desire to see them sinless? Do I desire to see them innocent? And it really takes you beyond the like, how can I not see people's bodies? Like, you know, so, you know, instead of asking, how can I not see this person as a body, just ask yourself, do I want to see them as innocent? Do I want to see them as sinless?
Do I want to see them as form, or do I want to see them as content?
Exactly. And remember, like it said, if you just desire to see them as sinless and to see them as guiltless, then the means to see them as not a body but as spirit will be given you, and then all the rewards of that, all the gifts that come along with that, a sense of worth and value that you don't doubt, a freedom from your misery that you thought you'd never be free from, is all comes with it. So, you know, so ask yourself, do I want to see this person guiltless? Okay. And so beautiful. Okay. All right. How are we doing out there? Beautiful. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Demi. All right. Okay. Great. So let's take a breath, because that was 3 paragraphs.
Did we finish this last sentence?
Yes. It said,
Nor see him
yes.
what you have made of him.
Yes, it said, bless the people you're in a relationship with,
Yeah, I know
which
that.
means see in them, which means don't see in them what you have made of them. To
That's
bless,
how we bless them.
exactly. Don't see in them what you made them to be, which is a body. So the way to bless people is don't see them as their bodies. desire to see them as innocent, no matter what their bodies are doing or not doing. All right, beautiful.
And that's what makes us tempted to think that they are bodies. Well, the
Exactly.
body did that.
Yeah, exactly.
So didn't they do that?
Right, yes.
Oh, so now you're back to not giving up your story, desiring to give up your story that you
Exactly.
think that they're a body.
Exactly, exactly. So now we're in paragraph 4. Hi dear, we're in chapter 20, section 8, in paragraph 4 in the blue covered edition.
Chat.
Okay. So, so spirit guarantees that what God willed, which means gave you, shall be yours. So you got a guarantee in there. Isn't that good to know? We got a guarantee.
You know how we love our money back
We
guarantee?
sure do. There's a guarantee that's within us, within our higher self, that what God gave to us, we're gonna receive. It will be ours. And that we would receive what our Creator gave us. This is our purpose now. You say God has given me everything. That's my purpose now. I want to experience that. You say God's given me everything. Great. Experiencing that is my purpose now. And the vision that makes this purpose mine is ready to be given us. So the vision that enables us to receive and experience all that God has given us is what is ready to be given us. So
Yeah.
I'm ready to give it to you.
Imagine Creator created all of these beautiful images
Creations.
of Creator's own loving self.
For us.
And wouldn't I know that how much Creator wants us to see
Yes.
what Creator has created?
Exactly. Just the way we are with our friends and our kids. It's like, I made this amazing thing for you. I can't wait for you to see it.
Yeah, that's so
Come on,
amazing.
you gotta see what I made for you. It's so incredible. You're gonna love it. You're so excited that your loved one would see what you have for them, and God, our Creator, is just like that. And so it's saying, and that's why you have the vision that enables you to see the body not. In other words, you have the vision to be able to see what Creator has given you that is so good that when you experience it, you will experience completion, satisfaction. Imagine that, a state of mind where you are completely satisfied, feeling completely complete, where there's no need, no lack at all. You're just like, that's what we call heaven.
When you have love's vision of how love sees things, you have arrived at a place where when you hear a sentence that says, all that need be is that you accept things as it is, that will be no problem.
Yeah.
How would it be a problem for you to accept things as they are when you're seeing things as blissed out, as knowing everything is perfect and right and
Perfection.
right
No
on
lack,
time.
no guilt.
Nothing's out of place. Everything's happening the way it should. Bing,
You have
bing,
everything
ba-boom.
you ever
And then
wanted
now
or
you're
needed.
dancing with heaven going, way to go, Creator, way to go, God. Look at you. Wow, I get to be a part of it. How can you be possibly a part of it?
Exactly. Yeah, well, and we are a part of it, but we don't see it. So here we are.
we are a part of it. We're just being
don't
blown
see
with
it.
it with blindfolds that we
Yeah.
put around our own eyes.
Exactly. So it's saying all of what God has created for us and given to us and is waiting for us to see is here for us. And it says, and it's waiting for us to see it. When? How do I get to see what my Creator has created for me that is better than anything I could ever dream of? By not seeing my brothers and sisters' bodies. Not looking at the bodies, not looking at what the body's doing, not looking at what the body's saying, not looking to get something of the body, not looking for what I can get from the body, not looking at the body I will see what creation has made for me.
Look beyond the body.
Exactly. When I'm willing to look beyond the body, meaning like, oh, get out of the way, body. What's behind that person's body? That body that's all acting all crazy. What's behind that body? What's behind that?
Wow, Anna and I did a random number generator, I think it was last night, but we were reading about, as we often do in A Course in Miracles, that dark cloud. And as again you're talking, Jet sitting home on YouTube.
Gee, I wonder why.
By the way,
He
we're on
goes like-
YouTube under Anna Kujawa on YouTube and
Yes.
on Sunday and on Greg's Facebook
Yes.
until people learn Anna Kujawa's
That's right.
YouTube page.
Thank you. Okay, so we were just saying that it was saying that all that creation has created for us and wants us to see it and waiting for us to see it, which it really is heaven on earth, that is available for us to see if we'll just look beyond the body, meaning not see the body. Now, then it tells us we're not seeing each other's bodies. What are we going to see? It says, here's what you're going to see. Okay, if you're ever wondering what's behind your brothers and sisters' bodies, you know, if you want to increase your motivation to try to see them as not their body, then here's what you're going to see when you're looking past or beyond their body. You're going to see an altar to God, the Creator, that is as holy and loving and beautiful as heaven. In other words, you're going to see an altar to heaven that is glowing with radiant purity and sparkling with the shining lilies that you laid upon that altar to creation. That's how they're going to look to you, by the way.
Yeah, that's how you're going to respond to what you see now.
Exactly.
Putting lilies.
Yes.
Was that written or was that channeled?
No, that's it says, as you look upon them not beyond their body, you will see an altar to God as holy as heaven, which means you will see an altar to God glowing with radiant purity and sparkling with the shining lilies you laid upon it. That's why A Course in Miracles says that, could you for one moment see others as they really are, beyond their body? It's literally, he says, you could scarcely refrain from kneeling at their feet and weeping in gratitude to them if you really saw who they are beyond their body.
And we want to stay here
And look at their
in such
body.
a crummy, limited,
And go,
unsatisfied way of
their
seeing
body
it.
looks
Just-
different. Oh, maybe I could get something from their body. Oh, yeah, I didn't like what their body said to me. I don't approve of what their body's doing. That's what I would rather have instead of seeing something that's so beautiful that I can't help but fall to my knees and weep in gratitude. Wow. Yeah, okay. He says, and what could you possibly value more than that vision?
Yeah, and we're talking about, we're limiting
Yes.
ourselves because we're
Completely.
putting values
Yes.
on others. And now we're being asked, what would you possibly want more valuable than that?
Exactly. It's like, here is the vision of heaven that if you were to really see it, you would weep. We would weep with a joy you could never even describe, a beauty that you could never even describe, beyond any beauty you've ever seen before. And then right in front of it is a pile of crap. And you're looking at the pile of doo-doo and going, ew, what did they eat? Ew, that stinks. When right behind it is this vision that,
Or you're putting an extreme, in your opinion, high value on that.
that's right.
Of greatness.
Exactly,
Because, again,
right.
of their body.
Yes,
The demonstration of their body.
yes,
Any value that we're putting, whether low or great,
yes, on the body.
is an exchange for
Yes.
seeing the value of love's vision.
Exactly. And then it's asking the question, what could you value more than God's vision of that
Right.
soul? There is nothing. He says, and why do you think the body is a better home or a safer shelter for this person. Why would you rather look on their body than on the truth? Honestly, how can the engine of destruction be preferred and chosen to replace the holy home that the Holy Spirit offers, where God will dwell with you? So really, honestly, come on, the body is the sign of weakness. The body is the sign of vulnerability.
An engine.
Yes.
What's an engine?
Yeah. How can the engine of destruction, that's the body. That's a great definition of the body. How could the engine of destruction, the body, be preferred for the glory of creation? Okay. How can the body be chosen to replace the glorious home that Spirit is offering? The home where God itself dwells with you. You know, I'd rather have the body. You're going to have the glory of creation, heaven, right here, right now. A beauty that you could never conceive of or describe, but you would rather have instead the engine of destruction. That's what we're saying. That's what we're choosing when we're seeing each other as their bodies. What their bodies are saying, what their bodies are doing, what their body looks like, whether we're judging it, rejecting it, or worshiping it. Either way.
What their body can do for me,
Yes.
is doing for me,
Yes.
or won't do for
Or
me,
might do
or
for
isn't
me.
doing for me.
Yes.
All of these things
All about
are our way of getting our calculator out and putting a limitation on the limitless.
Yes.
We're putting limit on the limitless.
And limiting our happiness.
Which is limiting, not only limiting our vision, but it's totally just closing off our vision.
And putting a big old limitation on our happiness. Okay? This is saying our happiness comes from seeing others as bodies, seeing God itself standing there behind their bodies, and that's where our true joy and abundance and healing comes from, is seeing the creations of God, seeing them as they are. That's what makes us happy, you know. And so this is teaching us that if you really want to be happy for real, stop limiting your happiness and have a certainty of worth and value. Stop seeing people as their bodies. Stop limiting your vision of creation. You know, and why would you want to do that when the body is the sign of weakness? The body is the sign of vulnerability. The body is the sign of a loss of power. Can such a savior like a body? Would you turn in your distress and need for help unto the helpless body? Is the pitifully little body the perfect choice to call upon for strength? Well, judgment is going to seem to make your Savior weak. Yet it is you who need their strength. And so, so take a breath. Now it's going to give us the truth here. The truth is that there is no problem, no event, no situation, no perplexity that vision of them beyond their body will not solve. What do you mean? What we mean is all is redeemed when looked upon with vision. All is redeemed when you look upon them with vision. Not your ego's vision, not the body's eyes vision, but how Spirit sees them, how Creator sees them. All is redeemed when looked upon with vision.
Everything's working out for good when you're seeing correctly.
Exactly.
Everything is right when you're looking upon everything with the vision of love. All
the misery you've been experiencing, you escape. It ends when you're...
I love the beginning of that sentence. There is no problem. Of course, it goes on to event, situation. Another part, I think, it's in the teacher's manual, 8.8, saying that all events, all situations, all encounters are helpful. You could only come to realize this, that everything happening is helpful. But I love it's saying here that there's not one single problem, not any problem you can come up with. You can't ever walk into Love's courtroom with your problem you're hanging on to that can't be immediately resolved through vision. If you have the correct way of looking at your problem, it never is a problem.
That's right.
If we can only remember that, if I can only look at this correctly, I can never see a problem.
Exactly.
I'm only seeing a problem because I'm not seeing it correctly.
Exactly. All problems are resolved when looked upon with vision. Not our vision, which only sees bodies, but Spirit's vision, which only sees beyond bodies. Okay? And it says that this vision that resolves, that solves all problems, that's not your sight, by the way. But it is a vision that brings with it the laws beloved of Spirit, whose sight it is. Okay? So we're talking about the vision that's not our vision, that only sees the bodies. It sees others as their bodies and sees us as our bodies. In other words, here's another way of saying the same thing, just in case we needed a little bit more motivation to ask for Spirit's vision beyond the bodies here.
I need more motivation.
We all need more, yes, exactly. We all do. And that's why the Course says the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Okay? It says, everything looked upon with Spirit's vision falls gently into place according to the laws brought to this thing by Spirit's calm and certain sight. Everything. And the end for everything that Spirit looks upon is always sure. Because everything meets Spirit's purpose, Spirit's purpose. In other words, when you allow Spirit to look on something, destructiveness becomes benign. Yeah, love that. When you allow Spirit to look beyond the body, then sin is turned to blessing under Spirit's gentle gaze. Love that. Now, what can your body's eyes perceive with power to correct? Can your body do all that? No. The body's eyes adjust to sin. And that's because your body's eyes are unable to overlook sin in any form, and that's why the body's eyes see sin everywhere in everything. So it says,
I think that's a mouthful right there.
Sure is.
I would really hope to get to at least this part in tonight's reading. The body's eyes. What are the body's eyes? Because it's another way of saying our interpretation.
Yes.
Our interpretation is only adjust to error, only adjust to sin, only adjust to what is wrong.
Yes.
Sin is a symbol word of you did something wrong. You know, you wore your dress too short.
And you're guilty.
You went to a dance on a Friday night. You drank the wrong drink. A sin is you did something wrong, and the body's eyes were made to adjust to that vision. That's what looking through our body's eyes, that perception, that's what they were literally made for, was to adjust until they find error. That's
Sin.
what our realm of interpretation was made for, was to adjust only to look for one thing, things that are wrong. What's wrong? What's wrong? We'll find it. And it's wrong. That's what we, without love, I'll in just a second.
Exactly.
20%. Without in other words, our separate way of interpreting, by default, adjust only to look for what could be wrong.
Yes.
We're not going to see what is right unless we ask for it or join with love's vision. We have to
Exactly.
remember to always be in union with love. If I'm not in union with love, when I'm looking at something and immediately it doesn't make me feel good, I should be realizing faster and faster and faster in my walk with the author of A Course in Miracles is that I'm to be in recognition. I'm not in union with love's vision.
I'm not asking.
Because it's not making me feel good. Because I'm seeing them as
Guilty.
unloving,
Yes.
as guilty, as sinful.
Yes, exactly. So you got either the body's eyes or love's vision. You know.
And the body being a symbol for limit.
Exactly.
So you got limits. Would you like to showcase limits vision or the unlimited vision?
Exactly. You want to see what guilt sees in this situation or this person? Or do you want to see what love is seeing in this person or this situation? You know, those are your two choices, and those are your only two choices. You know, and your perception will be consistent with what you want to see. Keep you bound, and the other one will set you free. Exactly. Beautiful.
And really, as we see the world outside of ourselves, when we're seeing all of these problems and things that don't make us feel peaceful, feel good, bring us joy and happiness, it's really in a way a measuring cup of showing us, you know, what we have to work on.
Yes.
We can see real plainly and easily what we have to work on.
Exactly, and what we see is also revealing what our purpose is. It goes on to talk about how your purpose is what determines how you see and what you see. And if your purpose is to see beyond the body and to not see others as their body, then you will see only the beautiful, the blameless, the holy, what is so beautiful that you could just barely, you know, not cry with joy at seeing it. So it's like, what do you want to see? Do you want to see the body? Do you want to look on the engine of destruction and be miserable? Or do you want to see what sets you free? You know, it all comes from what you want to see.
Yeah, what have you set as your goal?
Exactly.
As your purpose?
Exactly.
We've said before that you really don't need to ask somebody what they believe in, what their religion is,
Yes.
what their truth is. They'll tell you real fast and real quick what their truth is and what their belief is.
Exactly.
And if they tell you how they're seeing people outside of themselves as evil, as bad, as not worthy of love, as wrong, sinful, then their purpose is exactly that, because that's what they're looking for.
Exactly.
And so it's our testimony as we're talking about the world, we're talking about what our purpose is. But if we're and I'm nowhere close to there, by the way. And that's how I know these things so well. Is if we're looking out in the world, appalled at this world
And judging.
then it's still a reflection of,
Yes.
see, Greg, you
What's
see
your-
what your purpose is?
Yeah.
You see what you're looking for? You're only seeing what you're looking for.
Exactly.
You're only receiving what you asked for.
Exactly.
You're only finding what's behind where the pathway that you've gone to. Surprise,
Exactly.
you got there.
Yes. Yeah. How do you feel?
Yeah, how do you
How do you
feel?
like
You don't
that?
like it? Well, why are you there? Come back.
Yes, exactly.
Come over here.
Exactly. And if you don't like what you're seeing, if what you see terrifies you or angers you, you must have desired to see the body instead of love's vision. You must have wanted to see the body instead of asked, what does this look like to you? What are you seeing here, love? Now, since we're coming to the end of class, I'm gonna skip ahead a few paragraphs because the paragraphs I'm skipping is what we just talked about.
Right.
Okay, that vision is consistent with purpose, and all your vision comes from what your purpose is, just like spirit. Spirit's vision comes from spirit's purpose. Okay, and so, and then, while I read this, will you check on my line, which says it's about to, and maybe
Okay.
put in a different
Yeah, I
bed
will.
there. Thank you, baby. Okay.
Yes,
So-
dear.
yes, dear. Thank you, honey. Okay. listen to this beautiful, beautiful paragraph, okay? And before I read this paragraph, I want you to bring to your awareness something that that you've been looking at in the world that has been terrifying or frightening you or disgusting you, that you have been judging, okay? I want you to bring that to your live miracles, okay? So I want you to bring to your awareness something that has been frightening you, terrifying you, angering you in the world, something outside of yourself or within yourself, whatever. It says, when you have looked on what seemed terrifying and seen that terrifying thing change to sights of loveliness and peace, or when you have looked on scenes of violence and death and watched those scenes of violence and death change to quiet views of garden under open skies with clear, life-giving water running happily beside them and dancing brooks that never waste away, who need persuade you to accept the gift of vision? And after vision, who is there who could refuse what must come after? So there is a way of looking on scenes of violence and death and things that terrify you and watch them change to views of beauty with life-giving brooks that never waste away. Think but an instant just on this. You can behold the loveliness, the holiness, the beauty that God has given to God's creations. You can see that if you want to. And never need you think that there is something else for you to see. Drop the mic. You can see that. You know, you can see scenes that seem terrifying and scenes of violence and death, and you can watch them change to quiet views of gardens under open skies with clear, life-giving water running happily beside them and dancing brooks that never waste away. You can see that. God has given that vision to you. It's in you, ready to be seen by you. And don't ever think that there is something else for you to see.
I've shared a few times in classes that A Course in Miracles, the reason Anna and I teach A Course in Miracles, certainly the reason I teach it, is because what it's saying right here is once you have brought to heaven, brought to truth, brought to love, the scene of violence
And death. Like war.
I have a couple stories in my life where one was a suicide story by my one and only son. And when you can bring how you see it to spirit, and all it is a story of violence and death. And another story in my life where there was no way I would let go of my interpretation because I swore, and I even told Anna, that you could bring 1,000 people into the room, Anna. I didn't use 100 or 10. I was so confident you could bring 1,000 into the room.
And look upon it.
And if they looked upon it, standing next to me, there's not a doubt in my mind they would have the same interpretation, the same pain, the same anguish, the same hurt that I have. I'm confident of it. My story is right. And when you're willing, desirous to say, well, yeah, sure, if it were possible to give up that story
It was possible
of
to
such
see
great
it
pain
change.
for something that could be of flowing brooks, of music playing, of beauty, of something like Anna said that is so glorious that I wouldn't but be able to just be able to fall at my knees before that story in such gratitude. What? Go from such hellish pain to such heavenly gratitude? That, my friend, is why it's called A Course in Miracles.
And it
Because
is
it's a
given.
miracle. When you can take
Exactly.
a story, and when you have that happen, this is the point I wanted to bring you to, for somebody to hear in this hearing. When you have that happen, with your greatest stories,
Of violence and death.
of violence and death, it
Physical,
doesn't get worse
emotional.
than that. When you can see a world of war, and then you can be willing to hand that story that as you interpret it over to Spirit and see it different than everything else. What can't be changed beneath that?
Exactly.
When your greatest story that you could possibly conjure up, oh yeah, what about this one? And then when you see what love does with it,
Yep,
when you see through love's eyes,
yep.
you go, oh my gosh, this
Oh
is
God,
this is
anything's
crazy. I have to
possible.
tell everybody I know about
Anything's
this.
possible.
This what heaven has given us is we have God's vision. That's what we have at our disposal at any moment, at any time, at any second. I have the vision of the entire universe, greater than that of Creator's
Exactly.
vision, just by desiring to give this yucky, painful,
Yes.
ugly story as I see it up. What a bargain, what a trade. I give you this pile of dung
I give you this scene, all these scenes of violence and death, physical and emotional,
for life.
and you're gonna give me scenes of quiet views of gardens under open skies with clear, life-giving water running happily beside them and dancing brooks that never waste away. You, for our scenes of death and violence, you're gonna give us that vision. Okay, and like you were saying, now after you experience that, who need persuade you after that to accept the gift of A Course in
Yeah.
Miracles?
How much
Nobody.
persuasion are you going to need after that?
You didn't need any persuasion after that. You were like, Course in Miracles, that's the only vision I want. Okay, A Course in Miracles can do that. That's the only vision I want, right? And then it says, think on this for a little while. You can see that. You do have that vision within you to call upon. It is within you. And don't ever think that there's anything that would bring you more happiness than that. There's nothing. So never need you think that there's something else that would give you more than that. And you have it. Wow.
You never get more than
Never get
getting
more than that.
Creator
Woo.
love's vision.
And one time that happens, nobody needs to persuade you to ask for love's vision when you're looking on scenes of violence and death and are terrified by what you see and angered. No one need convince you at all to go, love, what does this look like through your eyes?
I challenge you, because I feel like Spirit's challenging me to challenge you, is to this upcoming days and this week to bring your most horrifying story of violence and death and destruction, that story that you just know can't be seen any other
That's
way
right.
than the way you see it.
Physically, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically,
And bring that story to love and
ask for love's
be
vision.
willing to, for a moment, to let go of your interpretation.
Exactly.
So you can make room to receive another interpretation. To just set your interpretation back down for a
Just
moment.
minute.
Just a moment. And if you just set it down for just a moment, put it down on the floor right next to you.
Yeah.
It'll still be there if you want to pick it back up
Yeah.
after you get love's vision. You can pick your story back
Yes.
up if you still want. But I want to challenge you this time, maybe even right now as you're hearing this, to just say to Spirit, I want to see it the way you see it. I
Yes.
want to see this world of that seems like it's destruction and death and warring, evil and unloving.
Yes.
I want to see it the way you see it, and watch what happens.
Yeah.
Just
See what happens.
see what happens.
Yeah.
What could it hurt?
Exactly. What could you lose by asking for love's vision?
You can turn it off right now. We're gonna sit for a moment with Anna and just do a quick
Yes.
meditation.
Now we're going to do a closing integration meditation where we take the ideas and use them. And for a list of our classes, I will post that in the class description in my YouTube posting of this. So just know that. All right. Okay, so close your eyes and take a breath. And just breathe. Just breathe, thank you. And just notice how you feel having heard these ideas in A Course in Miracles. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, I want you to bring to your awareness a situation or an event or a relationship that has been terrifying you, frightening you, or disgusting you, that you feel shame or anger around. And I want you to bring that to your awareness. And I want you to tell your what I am seeing here is consistent with what my purpose of seeing has been. I am seeing what I want. I am not seeing a representation of reality, of the truth. What I am seeing right here is my projection of what I believe and see within, what I wanted to see. Guilt, sin. I am not looking upon reality. I am looking upon my projection. I am looking upon my hallucination. I am merely looking upon how I have elected to meet my goal. That's all I'm seeing. And take a breath. Thank God, thank God, thank God. I'm not looking upon reality here. What I'm seeing without is what I looked upon within. That's all. And it's not true because it's not loving. And breathe. And now, let's go ahead and ask. Let's ask for love's vision. Love, loving right mind, higher self, Holy Spirit. What do you see in this situation, this event? Love, please look upon these scenes of violence and death, emotional and physical. Please look upon these scenes of war, physical war, emotional war, spiritual war, and see it for me. Look upon it for me. Let me not see these scenes, these events, as signs of sin or death. Show me how to not see this scene as an obstacle to peace. Show me what you see, love. Show me how you see this. How does this look to you through your loving purpose, Spirit? And watch. Watch. Spirit, I am willing to see beyond the bodies in this situation or event. I am willing to see everyone involved as sinless, no matter what their bodies are saying or doing. I am willing. I don't know how to see everyone here as sinless, but I'm willing. Show me how you see them. And then watch. Watch your nightmares turn into happy dreams. Watch those scenes of violence and death change to quiet views of gardens under open skies, with clear, life-giving water running happily beside them, and dancing brooks that never waste away. See what love's vision shows you. And breathe. Beautiful. Take a breath. And bring your awareness back to the room, back to your body. Beautiful. Good job, guys. Way to love yourself. Way to save the world. That's the way we save the world. This is how you do it. You do it with love's vision.
Hey, heaven's proud of you. I'm proud of you. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to this if you didn't desire.
Yes.
If you didn't have a desire. And it's like heaven's shout. I feel like I hear it right now, just saying, thank you. Thank you for being the remedy of a world that needs a remedy.
Desperately.
A world that is not seeing things with
Yes.
love, through
Yes.
the eyes of love. Thank you for being the first fruits of a
Yes.
planting that will bring a harvest,
Yes.
because our desire to see things as they are will bring forth a portal for heaven to come into a
So
place.
thank you. Thank you guys for joining this healing circle. I thank you and all the world that benefits from this. Thanks you. Love you guys and see you next time we see you.